and good morning, friends. It's me, Cassandra from Mobile Om Yoga, and I'm so grateful to have you tuning in on this Sunday morning for this free yoga practice brought to you from our friends, the San Antonio River Foundation. So this week, I'm actually taking a little bit of a time out. I'm nursing a little bit of a strain that I did to my back earlier this week. So I'm going to be streaming a class that I shared last June of 2020, recorded live here at the park. But before we get to that practice for you this morning, I just wanted to share a little bit of news, a little special event that you can actually check out later on this week. So you might notice that I'm standing here next to a pretty amazing piece here at the park. And this is a wind harp installation done by our friend Pamela Martinez of the Teletextile Sound Bath. If you remember back in November of last year, we collaborated on a special class here from the park where she brought to you a restorative healing sound bath meditation after our community practice together. So if you were able to see that and you're ready to check her out again, or perhaps you missed out on that wonderful immersive experience, so you can check her out. She's actually going to be streaming a live class or a live sound bath from the park here using this wind harp right next to me this coming Wednesday, which is the last day of the month, March 31st, and it's at 6 p.m. It's a 30-minute sound bath, just finding time in your day to get still, to get relaxed, and to restore your mind, body, and soul through the healing nature of sound. So hope you can check her out. Thank you again for joining me this morning, and we will now begin our practice brought to you from underneath the pavilion. Again, we're streaming this class. It's going to be a low, slow practice focusing on the hips and lower back, and we're streaming this class that came to you from June of 2020. All right, see you guys again soon. So for today's practice, we're going to keep things pretty low and slow. So staying low to the ground, moving slow and mindful, and really focusing on getting some lubrication and some movement in our hips, and perhaps some freedom from any low back issues that you may have. I know I've been experiencing a lot of tension and tightness in those areas myself, with all the constrictive energy that I've been feeling with everything that's going on right now in my life, and I'm sure that you guys can relate. So to get started, we're going to come down onto your knees, finding a nice child's pose, knees wide, big toes to touch, hips sit back on the heels, and you're going to extend your fingertips all the way out to the front of your mat. I want you to focus on getting really long here. So just beginning to tune in to your breath and perhaps elongate your inhales and stretching out those exhales to match. And then maybe wiggling your fingers a little bit longer towards the front of your mat on the inhale, and on the exhale, sitting the hips back, finding that nice, long, straight spine. Big, deep breath in through the nose here. Perhaps open your mouth and sigh it out. Begin to lift up shoulders over wrist on your next inhale, and you can kind of make it like a wave, like leading with the back of your heart. We're going to move through this a few times. When you pause at the top, really pull the heart long, slide the shoulders back, and then we'll exhale with a long spine, sitting the hips back down towards the heels. So moving with your inhale as you round through that wave, bringing your shoulders to come over the wrists. And as you exhale, sitting your hips back down towards your heels. We'll do 3 more just like that. Inhaling, the wave comes forward, shoulders over wrist, ending with the heart extended. And then exhale, keeping the hips long as you sit back. And 2 more. Inhale, we rise, shoulders coming over the wrist. And then exhale as you sit your hips all the way back down towards the heels. One more time. Inhale, coming forward, shoulders over the wrists. One last time. Exhale, sit your hips back down towards your heels. Inhale, begin to lift back up. This time find a tabletop, letting the wrists come underneath your shoulders and then bringing your knees to stack underneath your hips. We'll continue moving with our breaths now through more of a cat-cow shape. So the inhale, you're arching the spine, letting the belly drop, lifting up your gaze. And with your exhale, tuck your chin towards the chest, rounding the back of the heart up towards the sky. Again, big belly inhale as you drop into that cow pose. Exhale, curl and round into cats. 3 more with your breath. Inhaling to really stretch into the deepest arch you can make. Exhaling to press into that dome. Inhaling. Exhale. One more time through each flexion of your spine. Inhaling, belly down. And exhale to tuck and round. On your next inhale, go ahead and find a nice straight neutral spine. Shifting the weight into your left knee, begin to extend your right heel back and lift it off the ground. So you're starting to engage a bit through the navel center, finding balance on the 3 remaining limbs on the earth. On your inhale, begin to lift your gaze as you also lift your right heel, finding that same arch in your spine as in that cow pose. As you exhale for tricky cat, you're drawing the knee towards your nose and doming the back of the heart. 2 more. Inhale, extend the gaze, extend your heel. Exhale, tuck and round it in. Inhale, lift the right heel back, lift your gaze. This time, exhale, tuck it in, and then pause here. Really starting to fire up in this dome-like cat spine. Taking one more inhale, see if you can lift your knee a little higher. And then we're going to start to bring that right foot in between your hands. So maybe you lift off the right hand a bit. And then as you start to sink your hips forward, maybe walking the right foot as well. So as you sink the hips deep, you're bringing the ankle right under that right knee. Starting to lift up through the heart, allowing the hips and pelvis to get nice and deep here. Take another inhale as you draw your heart-long shoulders down the back. As you exhale, you're just going to start to straighten as much as you can in that right leg, walking the hands back, peeling the toes towards the sky. As you inhale, elongate your heart towards the right toes. Maybe on your exhale, you get a little bit deeper into that fold. Take one more breath, elongate heart towards the toes. Exhale, perhaps deepen the fold. On your next inhale, begin to gaze back forward, bending back into your right knee. Hands come to frame that right foot. You're going to shift back and extend your right heel, finding that 3-legged tabletop once again. Take another inhale here, and as you exhale, begin to bend your knee. Sole of the foot facing straight up towards the sky. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, begin to draw your knee in towards your nose and pause here. And then on your next inhale, you're going to draw a line out to the side. Take your knee out towards the right. And then as you exhale, drop it back down. 2 more just like that. Inhale, kick the right knee up. And exhale, bring it down. Really beginning to feel the fire here. Inhale, last time, kick it up and pause. And then you're going to kick the right heel out to the side. Inhale. And as you exhale, bring your right foot down onto the floor. Seal the pinky side edge down. We'll find cat-cow here. Inhale, let the belly drop, lifting up your gaze. And exhale to push and round the spine. 2 more just like that. Inhale, the belly drops, gaze lifts. Exhale as you tuck and round. One more inhale, belly drop, gaze lift. And exhale to tuck and round. On your inhale, just find a neutral spine. Begin to walk your hands in towards that standing left knee, and then walk yourself all the way up. So I'm going to turn to face you. So you're here in your gait pose. Bring your arms parallel to the earth. We're going to inhale, extend over the right leg. Right hand comes down, left arm reaching up and over. Each inhale, focus on getting length, opening the left side. Each exhale, seeing if you can bend a little deeper towards that right leg. Taking one more breath in and exhaling it out. On your next inhale, begin to come upright. And then with your exhale, bring your hands to stack back under your shoulders, still having that right foot out to the side. Take an inhale here, and as you exhale, begin to sit your hips back towards your left heel, kind of like a half child's pose. And then maybe you wrap those right toes up towards the sky. So a little bit of an awkward space here as we take this version of child's pose with an extended right leg. And then we're going to come back into that kind of wave breath we found in child's pose earlier. Keeping the right leg to the side though. So you're going to inhale, begin to shift onto the left knee. And as you come forward, you'll bend that right knee out to the side. So maybe you kind of push your rib cage towards that inner right thigh. And then you're just going to kind of come back, hips towards heels, and bow to the ground. So 2 more like that. Inhale, start to round up, bend in the right knee, set the foot down, and set your right ribs, right hip really open. Inhale, sit back as you come into that forward fold. Inhale, rounding up, and as you exhale, bend into the right knee and settle those hips over. On your next inhale, come all the way back, finding that 3-legged tabletop. We're going to lift the right heel from right where it's at. And then begin to reach it all the way back. Extend it out behind you. Toes towards the earth, gaze lifts. Take one more inhale. See as long as you can get. And then as you exhale, go ahead and settle that right knee down to meet your left. Inhale the belly down towards the earth, gaze lift. Exhale, tuck your chin and round. And then finding a nice neutral spine here, we'll anchor this time into the right knee and begin to take your left leg back, lifting the heel away from the ground, engaging your corset muscles to help support you here. And on your next inhale, begin to lift your gaze towards the horizon, lift your heel a little higher so you're actively feeling an arch coming into the back. Exhale for that tricky cat, draw the knee in towards your nose, pressing the back of the heart high. Inhale, lift the gaze, lift the heel, arch in the spine. And exhale, drawing knee towards the nose. Inhale, reaching it back, lifting your heart. And this time on your exhale, draw it in and hold. So really finding that back of the heart drawing in as you draw the knee a little closer towards your chest. And then you're going to bring your left foot in between your hands. Start to walk it forward, sinking the hips forward and down, sinking the pelvis forward and down, keeping the fingertips on the ground. Start to lift and tilt your heart high. Slide the shoulder blades down the spine. And taking a breath in and out here. One more inhale. And as you exhale, you'll begin to shift your hips back, walking your hands back towards that right knee as you flex the left toes up towards the sky. Taking an inhale, extend your heart towards the left toes. Maybe the exhale bends you in a little bit deeper. One more breath in here. And exhaling it out. Inhale, begin to look forward, walking your hands forward, bending back into that left knee, lifting up the heart. We're going to take your left heel, extend it all the way back behind, finding that 3-legged tabletop. Lift the heart, lift the gaze, lift the heel. And then bend that left knee, inhale, As you exhale, bring the knee in towards your nose and pause. This time you're opening that left knee out to the left side. Inhale, draw it in. Exhale here, and then inhale, lift it up. Exhale, draw it in. This last time, inhale, lift the left knee up, and then you're going to kick the left heel straight out, and then go ahead and set it down onto the ground. Finding that kind of funky cat-cow. Inhale into the arch spine, gaze lifts. Exhale, tuck the chin and round. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, tuck and round. Inhale, lift the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, tuck and round. And on your next inhale, finding a neutral spine, you'll begin to walk your hands in towards that right knee as you come to standing into your gait pose. So arms come parallel to the earth, getting nice and tall. And an inhale, we're bending towards that extended leg, towards the left side. So the length is coming into that right side body as you stretch up and over. Big, full breath. Each inhale, getting a little bit more length, and each exhale, a little bit more depth. One more breath in, and breathe out. On your next inhale, go ahead and come back upright, bringing the arms parallel. This is where we're going to find that version of child's pose. So hands come down, and you begin to sit your hips back towards that right heel and flex your left toes up towards the sky. Bow your hands forward, bow your forehead down, just like you'd be coming into child's pose. On your inhale, you're going to begin to lift the hips from the heel. You're bending into that left knee and just kind of setting your hips and your ribs as much as you can to that left. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, sit the hips back. Two more just like that. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, bending the hips over towards the left knee. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, sitting the hips back. Last time, inhale, coming up. Exhale, bending into that left knee. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, sitting back. Inhale, press back up, finding a tabletop. Lift the left leg right where it's at. Begin to take it straight behind you. One more time, lift your gaze, finding that extension, heart opening. And then as you exhale, go ahead and settle your left knee to meet your right. One cat-cow for good measure here. Belly down, inhale. And exhale, round. Inhale, finding your neutral spine once again here in your tabletop. Begin to walk your fingertips towards the front of your mats, allowing the forehead to come down as you keep the hips stacked over your knees. Taking a moment here in our puppy pose to stretch out the shoulders, to open up the chest. Take a big breath in. Maybe open your mouth in a big active sigh. Take one more like that. Big breath in. Open mouth, active sigh out. On your next inhale, walk your hands back to stack underneath your shoulders. Nice. Finding your nice neutral tabletop pose here. Right, beautiful. Take an inhale. Let's drop the belly. Just getting back into the spine. Exhale, arch it out. And finding a neutral spine. Once again, we're going to find a three-legged tabletop with the right heel back. So inhale, reaching it back. This time as you exhale, you're going to bring your knee towards your elbow and then set your foot to the outside of your right hand. So turn the right toes open towards the right side and begin to let your knee fall open. Lifting up through the heart. Take a breath in, and then as you exhale, maybe you walk your hands forward, finding a little buoyancy in the chest as you really get active in that right hip. So you may be feeling something all the way up here. This is a challenge, then stay there. So we listen and breathe. And then as you take your next inhale, begin to walk your hands back under the shoulders. Set your right foot back down onto the ground. You're gonna tuck your left toes and lift your knee. Begin to step your left foot to meet your left hand, and you're squatting into a nice yogi squat here. Sinking your hips deep, lifting the crown, pressing the elbows into your inner thighs. Take a deep breath in and exhale to empty. Taking one more breath in here and exhale it out. Hands come to the earth. Begin to shift into the left foot. You're just going to take that right leg back and set your knee down to the ground. So the left toe should already be open. If they're not, open them a little bit and find that kind of winged knee variation where you come onto the pinky side of the left foot. Begin to draw the heart forward. So sensation may already be occurring here. You can deepen the sensation by bowing the chest and finding a little buoyancy in the heart. Big breath in. Exhale it out. One more breath here. And exhale it out. Your next inhale, begin to walk your hands in. You're just going to lift your left foot, knee toward your elbow, and then inhale, extend the left heel back, finding a nice extended three-legged tabletop. And then on your exhale, go ahead and bring your knee down towards the ground. Inhale, take your right leg back one more time. On your exhale, you're going to take it out to the right side. We're going to set it right back where it was. This time, begin to walk your hands back towards your left knee, and you're going to sit your hips to the inside of your heel. So you're kind of plopping your booty down and taking the right leg out. So we're in a little half dragonfly here. All right, take an inhale, extend your fingers to the sky. We're going to take a side body bend towards that right leg. So right hand to the right leg and opening up the left side body by reaching really deep here. Take a breath in and exhale it out. On your next inhale, you'll begin to come upright. Take the hands behind you to switch the legs, right heel in, left heel out. Inhale, 10 fingers to the sky. Exhale, left hand comes to the left leg, right arm is reaching up and over, finding side body bend. Take a deep breath here and exhale it out. On your next inhale, you'll reach it back up to center. And then with your exhale, bend the left foot in, bring both feet to meet, finding a butterfly here. Take a moment to really ground down through the sit bones. And we'll take a seated cat-cow. So you're inhaling to lift the heart, lift the gaze, roll the shoulders back. Exhaling to tuck the chin and round. Inhale to lift and open. And exhale to round. Last time through both flexions, inhale to lift and open, and exhale to round. All right, inhale to lift and open, and then on your exhale, begin to just walk to your level of a forward fold. Melting down, allowing the knees to be heavy. Focus in on the gentle movement of your breath. Inhale and exhale. And your next inhale, begin to walk your hands in towards your feet, bringing the feet to meet the earth in front of you, keeping those knees up towards the sky. We're going to bring the hands back and find a reverse tabletop. So starting by lifting the heart, this is a good place to start or stay. Next up, ground through the hands and feet. Begin to lift your hips up in line with your knees, in line with your shoulders. You wake up the back body, the shoulders, the feet. One more breath. And then as you exhale, go ahead and bring your hips back down to meet the mats. Right, you're going to extend your left knee out in front of you. And take that right knee and you're going to try to stack your right knee over your left. So like a little, it's called shoelace pose. So we're trying to find shoelace here, left leg extended. And then you're gonna lean into your left hip and see if you can bend that right heel back towards your right hip. So you may look a little different here, and that's okay, because it's not about what we look like or what the final product looks like. It's about how we feel. So just finding a place that you're feeling something in your hips. And if you have props at home, you can always use them here, like a blanket underneath your hips if they're lifted, or any kind of a block or something under your knee. So finding a space where you can feel stable and grounded, and perhaps that sensation is already a lot here and you're already dealing with some percolation. So if that's true, close your eyes and just breathe where you are. Pay attention to some of the external factors that can be triggers when our body feels that stress of sensation. Maybe the shoulders are curling to the ears, or your breath is getting shallow or hurried. For the last few moments, if you want to go deeper, just allow the upper body to fold forward, folding it down over to kind of squish down that right knee. Perhaps you just let the weight of the head fall forward. And breathing some nice fluid breaths in and out here. Your next inhale, begin to walk yourself upright. We're going to take the hands back behind you, unravel your legs, and set them a little bit wider than your hips. And then we're just going to let them wave from side to side. Nice windshield wipers, allowing this to kind of unlock all the way up into that lower back as you're shifting from one side of the pelvis to the other. And then as you come back into neutral, you'll straighten your right leg out. And we're gonna find that shoelace pose on the opposite side. So you're nestling that left knee over the right, sitting up nice and tall. And then leaning into the right hip. See if you can bend your left heel back in line with your left hip. And again, finding whatever you need to adapt to find a space where you can comfortably and sit in discomfort. So the discomfort may occur here, and you're just watching how you react, your breath and your body. And listening when you need to go deeper, you can take it over into that forward fold, just allowing the weight of the upper body to go a little bit deeper into the hips. And just uniting with your breath and riding the wave as you surrender to whatever your experience is here. Your next inhale, begin to lift all the way up. Go ahead and unravel your feet. Bring them back down to the earth. We're going to roll down onto the ground, all the way onto the back, keeping the feet right where they are for a moment. Nice. And then go ahead and bring your knees to meet your chest and allow yourself to kind of rock from side to side. Just getting a sense of anything that's going on in your lower back. I'm going to conclude our practice with bringing a little bit of fire to our core. But that'll really help us as we warm that up to get into this nice space of ease for our Shavasana. So go ahead and take the knees in one more moment. And then go ahead and bring the feet down to meet the earth. We're going to take 3 bridge poses here. So really to direct our energy into the legs here. We haven't done a whole lot of heart opening, so it will open the heart, but we're really focusing the energy on the legs. So rooting through your feet, on your next inhale, use that grounding energy to start to lift and peel your hips up off of the earth. So again, not really focusing on getting too high in the upper body unless you want to, but instead pay attention to what you experience in the low body. So I want you to feel your inner thighs drawing in and the soles of your feet rooting down. And then taking one more breath as you press the hips up away from the ground. And then as you exhale, slowly begin to lower one vertebrae at a time, really paying attention to curling down that low back slowly. So for our second bridge, again, inhale, you root through the feet. Use that leg strength to lift your hips up, stretching the front of the hip flexors, awakening the tops of the thighs. Taking one more breath. See if you might be clenching in your glutes. See if you can bring softness there. And then exhale, slowly lower your hips back to the mats. One more breath in. And then get empty here. And grounding down through your feet. Last time, we're curling up into that nice active leg bridge pose. Rooting through the feet. Wrapping in those thighs. Firing up your quads. Softening the glutes. One more breath. And then as you exhale, begin to slowly roll yourself down to your back. Bring the knees once again up towards the chest and kind of rock and roll side to side. See if you can maybe even feel your low back like it's walking out and you're getting a little more length in the spine. And then you're going to bring your knees to stack over your hips and the ankles in line with the knees. So it looks like you've fallen back in a chair. So this is where we're going to bring a little more fire to the low belly, but in a way that it's bringing us practical strength to help alleviate some of our low back pain that can come when we're not really strong in our lower core to help hold us up in that erect posture. So hands can be down by the side, or to intensify at any time, hands can come and you can do this whole sequence with your upper body lifted. So taking your choice, we're going to just inhale, straighten the right leg and tap your heel, and exhale, draw it back in. Inhale, straighten your left leg, tap your heel, and exhale, draw it back in. Inhale, right, tap, and bend. Inhale, left, tap, exhale, bend. So a few more each side, moving really slowly and mindfully, paying attention to what is awakening in the core of your body. Again, as we use this practical strength, that's going to help us to support a beautiful posture when we're standing or when we're sitting. That can help to alleviate some of the pain we might experience in our low back. All right, we'll take one more on each side so that you end with that left heel tap. It can be a little off for me, that's okay, as long as you're moving and feeling here. As you draw that knee in, and then bringing your feet back to the floor. We're gonna take one more bridge pose just to stretch out all we just worked. So inhale, begin to press through the feet, lift the heels, lift the hips, maybe feeling this in a new way, tucking your tailbone down towards the heels. One more breath in, and then as you exhale, lower your spine down to meet the mats. All right. And now draw both knees up to meet your chest. The knees open up wide, and go ahead and find yourself in happy baby. And using this moment to settle the lower back into the mat as you rock from side to side. Maybe you get a little funky with it. You can kick one heel out and then the opposite heel, just finding some freedom and some sensation in the legs and hips here. And then coming back into that neutral space of happy baby. Bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees push open. So we're in a little bit of a bound, kind of butterfly space here. Knees are pressing away from the body. Shoulders are trying to stay rooted here. One more breath in and out. And then bring your hands to the outer knees and begin to close your knees in together like a book. And you're going to keep your right knee hugged in. Extend your left leg down to the mat. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, begin to guide that right knee all the way across your mat. So you're rolling onto the left hip. You can inhale. I like to take my right arm straight up first. So I'm really elongating almost out of that right shoulder. And then begin to open with a nice long arm out to the right side. So you're feeling the stretch from the right fingertips all the way through that right knee. Taking a few moments to breathe into surrender, letting gravity do the work here. As you inhale, begin to come back into center. And then you're just going to set the right foot down to the inside of your left leg. Knee stays to the sky and just let it open up, just like half a butterfly here, like a little tree pose on the ground. Maybe the hands come on to the hips, the pelvis. And just kind of breathing and allowing gravity to take over that right leg. And then extend your right heel right where it is, a little bit out in a diagonal. As you begin to lift the left knee, bring it in towards the chest. Take it towards the side of the ribs and make your way into a half happy baby. Just for a moment, feeling that stretch. Yeah, knee comes into the center of the chest. Bring your knee in, hug it in. And then we're guiding it over towards the right side. Again, rolling towards that side as well. Left hand can come straight up to the sky and then begin to open it out like a book, finding that nice stretch from left fingertips to left knee and letting gravity take over, finding a few breaths here, in and out. Your next inhale, begin to draw that left knee back into center. Set the foot down to the inside of your left or your right thigh, and then let the knee open up to the left, kind of like a reclining tree pose. Hands can stay again on the hips or pelvis. They can open up just a few moments as you just let the knee fall open. And then begin to have a couple choices here. You can kick that left heel straight, finding a traditional Shavasana. You can bend the right knee and let the right foot meet the left for a little more sensation in this bound angle pose. And just taking whichever variation feels best for you right here, right now. And come back into your breath. Taking these last few moments on your mat as the most precious space to pay attention to what is circulating within the space of your skin. Your sensations, your reactions, your thoughts, they're all here for you to sit with and breathe through and create for yourself a space of compassion, a space of renewal, a space of self-love and acceptance. So you really have a moment of solidarity or union, mind, body, and soul, dedicated to this practice, whatever intention brought you here. So I'm going to leave you for these last few moments just to soak in, to drink in your breaths,
to soak in yourself and to actively release anything that you do not wish to carry onward as you conclude your physical practice, but carry your yoga with you, the wisdom you've gained in this hour together. From wherever you are, just begin the process of reconnecting to your physical body. Maybe that means wiggling the fingers, toes, hands, and wrists. Maybe reaching and finding a full body stretch as you wake yourself back up, choosing to feel alive and choosing to feel grateful for the work you've done on the mat today. And the knees into the chest. You can either rock to the side or rock and roll to a seated space. We're going to end our class in a seated pose, sitting nice and tall, sit bones to crown, lifting up. Maybe close your eyelids if you haven't already. And taking these last few moments for reflection, just reflecting on your motivation for being on your mats, for the journey you've taken, and most of all for dedicating yourself to doing the work. Allow the palms to touch, thumbs come to the center of the chest. Sit yourself up a little bit taller as you really open your heart to that idea of gratitude for yourself and also for this virtual community. You know, knowing that there's others showing up, even if we can't see them, gives us the inspiration to show up for ourselves as well. So knowing that you have a piece in that community, sit up a little taller, take an inhale through the nose. We'll sigh it out the mouth and finish with the vibration of Om. Inhale. Om. Thumbs lift to the third eye in honor of that space within ourselves and the space within others that guides our way. May the light that shines within you continue to inspire yourself and others. And the light in me, I honor the light in you. Namaste.